The Jacksonville Jaguars desperately need a win for Christmas right now. All they need to ask Santa for Christmas is a win because they need one in the worst way. And they're going up against a Buccaneers team right now that's in a completely opposite situation from what they're in. They're on a 3-game win streak. And I'm going to be honest. If you were to ask me who has been the most biggest surprise team in the league this year, I got to go with the Bucs because, be honest, most of us didn't think that Baker Mayfield was going to be as good as what he's been this year. And who would have thought that Todd Bowles would have this team in position to win the NFC South for a second straight year in a row? Say what you want about this being the worst division in the NFL. For him to win it consecutively, potentially again, you got to give a lot of props to him being able to do that. That shows that he's not that bad of a coach. If you can win a terrible division twice, that shows that at least you're good enough that you're not losing and you're not playing down to some of the worst teams in the league and some of the worst coach teams in the league, which probably reside in this division. You see, the Buccaneers, why they're winning games is because Baker Mayfield is cooking right now. They got Baker baking in the kitchen and he's whipping that shit up right now. Mike Evans is going off. You got a really good group of wide receivers outside of Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin. You got a pretty good tight end. You got Rachaad White, who, although they don't have a lot of success on the ground with him consistently, he's really good catching the football out of the backfield. Tampa Bay is a really underrated offense. Defensively, they've had their fair share of misses. They've dealt with some injuries this year. They've had some injuries at linebacker. Devin White, he was a healthy scratch. He has a contract dispute going on. It's probably wrapped for him in Tampa. The secondary has been a little bit beat up as well. But to their credit, this is a defense that, outside of that Texans game, they've been pretty solid. They haven't really given up 30 points other than that matchup. And the Jaguars offense, the problem with Jacksonville is that they have too many self-inflicted errors. And we don't even know if Trevor Lawrence is even going to be able to play in this game. He's in concussion protocol. Their backup quarterback is good enough to keep them in this game due to the talent that the Jags have offensively. The Bucs offense is talented, but so is Jacksonville. They got really good wide receivers, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones. You got Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, which we didn't really hear him do anything, and their loss to the Baltimore Ravens. They got to get Travis Etienne going. Regardless of who suits up at quarterback for the Jags in this game, whether it be their backup or Trevor Lawrence, the run game has to get activated. All right? You see, the problem with Trevor Lawrence is that when you can get consistent pressure on him, he gets rattled. And he's not the same quarterback once you get a couple of hits on him. But when he's throwing and operating from a clean pocket, this dude is like machine-like. You kind of can call him like the NFL equivalent to what War Machine is in Marvel. The Buccaneers got to make sure that they get Trevor Lawrence uncomfortable if he plays in this game. He's not at 100%. And this is somebody that once you get pressure on him and you get him forcing the issue, he'll cough up the pigskin. And you can walk away with a couple of Christmas gifts. And if you're Tampa Bay, you need to be the Grinch who stole Christmas this afternoon in this matchup. Jacksonville is a team that if you give them the opportunity to, they'll self-implode and they'll do the heavy lifting for you. But if you get a Jags team that takes care of the football and they're locked in and they're executing at a high level offensively, this is probably going to be a back and forth affair. Now, defensively, the Jacksonville Jaguars, outside of their run defense, their pass defense has been awful this year. They don't really have great communication. Their corners haven't played good. And they do have some injuries that they're dealing with. Tyson Campbell has missed the last couple of matchups. But even when they've been healthy at defensive back and in the secondary, they still haven't been good. They got shredded by Grandpa Flacco. Baker Mayfield, with the way that he was baking up those touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers last week, yeah, we know that Joe Barry is one of the worst defensive coordinators in the National Football League, but the Jaguars D coordinator, he's not too far off from how bad Joe Barry is. And there are a lot of Jags fans that want their defensive coordinator's head right now for a good reason. The most consistent player on Jacksonville's defense is Josh Allen. Tampa Bay, they need to do everything they can to slow this dude down. They need to triple team him, quadruple team him, chip him with a tight end or running back. Do not allow Josh Allen to wreck this game. And Trayvon Walker, even to an extent, he started to come on as of late. I was kind of losing a little hope on him. I thought he was a bust, honestly, but he's coming on. So they got a pass rush, and they are formidable against the run. But it doesn't really matter that they got a great run defense in this game. It's going to come down to Jacksonville's ability to slow down the Buccaneers' passing attack. I never thought I would say this. I never would thought that in the last couple of years, with all the teams that Baker Mayfield has bounced around on, he's been passed around like a hot potato in the NFL, that he would be somebody that the Jaguars have to game plan for and to make sure that they can slow this dude down. And I don't really think they're going to be able to do it, man. I'm taking the Bucs to get the win. I'm rolling with the Baker train. Even if Trevor Lawrence plays in this game, the Jags are the more talented team, and I probably will agree that they have the coaching advantage because Doug Peterson is a better coach than Todd Bowles. But the Jags aren't playing really inspiring football. They beat themselves. They're inconsistent. Trevor Lawrence is really inefficient at times. The Bucs don't really have too many turnovers that they give to other teams. And their defense is good enough that they're not just going to allow Jacksonville's offense to have one of those games when they just explode. I'm taking Tampa Bay 31-20 is my final score prediction for this game. A lot of people are going to be surprised that the Buccaneers are going to continue to win. This will be their fourth win if they get it. And I'm just riding on who has the hot hand right now. And right now, it's Baker Mayfield and Tampa. I'm not going to trust the team in Jacksonville that can't even take care of the football and has too many self-inflicted errors.